Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching me from. So, I'm still Landlady Jane. I welcome you to today's episode of the Real Estate Talk with Landlady Jane. And I also want to use the opportunity to welcome Mr. Chris on the show. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Jen.
Welcome
Good
to
morning. Good afternoon.
yes. Welcome to today's episode of Real Estate Talk with Landlady Jane. We have missed you on the show, and we are thank God you're here today. So, would you have anything to say to my audience?
It's been a while. We've been following your program online, and we've seen significant improvement in the style of delivery and the content itself. And we pray you have more reach.
Of course. Thank you so much for that little prayer. Yes, and today we are talking about the concept of CFO.
Okay.
Yes. Our audience will want to know what a CFO is, how did they obtain it, of what importance, what use is this CFO is, and what are the challenges they are going to face while trying to process that document. But first of all, before we go on, I would like to explain what a CFO is to a layman understanding and to every investor out there. So CFO is a legal document that is issued by a state government. Precisely, sorry, it is issued by the federal government, precisely the governors. Yes, the governors are the one that signs the CFO for you, and this will confirm the fact that you are a legal occupant of a particular piece of land. Please, let's mark the word occupant. You are confirmed to occupy. The word occupy in a CFO is very, very important to everyone, and we should be able to understand what that word signifies in getting a CFO. So it will help you be an occupant of a particular piece of land for a period of time before the government will come back and tell you if you are still eligible to occupy this place or not.
Okay, just like you said, you're talking about concepts of certificate of ownership.
Yes.
Thank God you use the word concept. Now, I'd like to correct an impression. CFO is not issued by federal governments. CFO is issued by each state government. Okay. Yes, because but however, the law that took ownership of land from indigenous um, each families and citizens of the country is the federal government's law. But however, the CFO is a document issued by each state government.
Whereby there is no governor in a particular state.
It is issued by the state government. Each state has a government, whether you are controlled by an administrator. So as you have in River State right now, there is no governor, but there is a government. So the state government, you don't have a state administration, you understand? So there's a state government. So whoever heads the state government is the one that signs the CFO. Okay, so the CFO is not issued by the federal government, it's issued by the state government.
I think that was a misconcept from me. Yes.
But it's good to make that distinction.
It's a misconcept from me because I know that governors are the ones that issue CFO. Okay, what of places like Abuja where we don't have a governor and someone wants a CFO in a property in Abuja? Who will not sign for us?
There's what they call the like Wike is actually the governor of the FCT.
Okay.
minister, stamps it. So the president of the country is the one that is the governor, but the minister in charge of FCT is representing the governor. So it is signed by the governor of the FCT, the minister of FCT.
Okay, so why I brought this question is because
Yes.
some persons feel that it's very rare to get a certificate of a property that has certificate of occupancy in places like Abuja, or because uh, maybe nobody is there to sign it or
It
something.
is not, it is not
When
difficult.
you try to convince them that no, we can actually get a C of O property in Abuja. It's possible. It is, in fact, there are so many of them. So they prefer this FCDA something, federal commission, as federal government wants something there. That's what they prefer. It's a property that have the FCDA. What they said, does it have FCDA number? You say yes, okay. That's what they want. But the one that has C of O, they kind of query you that how did you get a property that has C of O in Abuja? But it's there. It's actually not abnormal. It's there. And,
Let us also make other concessional jurisdictions as well too. In Nigeria, we have the federal government. The federal government have a seat of power in Abuja, which is Federal Capital Territory Abuja, and then we don't have states. Okay, different states in Nigeria. How many states do you have in Nigeria? 36, 37?
36
36
states.
states. Okay, good. So, yeah. Now,
Because they have been away now, you think
well,
they've added some states?
well, each of those states you have in Nigeria also now have local governments. But in the case of Abuja, you don't have local governments, but you have
Yes.
districts.
Okay.
Okay, good. So now, it is not difficult getting a C of O in Abuja.
I'm just saying
The
from
only
somebody.
tweak is that other states in Nigeria, most other states in Nigeria use 99 years, but Abuja is not doing 99. Abuja is doing like 20 years.
Their own is less.
Yes.
So every 20 years you have to go and renew. You have to go and renew your documents so that you can still occupy that.
Yes.
Okay, if you don't renew, they will take the property from you.
It's not to take here. It's already theirs. They only just like when your rent is due.
Yeah, you just wow.
They don't. The landlord doesn't have any business with you.
Oh.
So when they can come to you in the middle of the night when you are sleeping with your family. Abuja is notorious for using tractors to bulldoze people out of their places.
But that law is not only in Abuja, it's everywhere.
It's not a law, it's automatic. Government have what they use police for enforcement.
Okay, maybe that's what defines the fact that I was having that challenge with a client who is interested in the one that have FCDA number, not the one that have C of O.
All C of O have
number. They're trying to explain that these things are the same thing, or they will even prefer to get R of O.
See,
because of the 20 years stuff.
You can get more than 20. It's arrangement. Understand? Just like even in Lagos where you have 99, that's the maximum. You can get 5 years, you can get 20-year lease. Agriculture in Lagos is not 99. You cannot get an agricultural land for 99 years. The C of O for agricultural land is not 99 years. They can give you 20, they can give you 10 years. It's a lease. The max is 99. So that does not mean that you apply for a C of O. You specify I want
how many years you want.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's not like you just put for a C of O blank, they just come and they just stamp 99 years from you.
And you have some amount of money to pay.
Of course, there's always money you pay. The size determines. Okay.
I know they charge in square meters.
Yes.
So, depending on how many square meter.
Yes. That you want to apply for.
So if I have like 600 square meter of a piece of land, they have to charge me times 600.
They have a specific rate.
Yes,
so I multiply it.
Multiply by
and then as well, if there are special elements that goes into that stuff, it doesn't be factored in.
Okay. I hope that my audience, you guys are listening, because we are still coming to tell you what you're supposed to do to lay claim of your property. It's not just about buying it. You need to take it for yourself. You need to occupy that property, like certificate of occupancy is saying. So right now we are going to be we are going to be talking about importance of CFO. How important are this is this document for for an investor? How important it is? Why should an investor go for a CFO? Even when you bought a property that is under registered survey, why must we go for? Because I see that getting the CFO is necessary. So why should an investor do that?
A CFO gives you rights. It's called the right it gives to you. It's a titled document, not just a document like a registered survey. A registered survey, a survey basically just talks about the size and location of the land. It does not talk about right of ownership or right of transfer or right to use or right to to lease, further lease to other persons. A registered survey does not confer rights of occupancy or ownership as the case may be. It does not transfer rights to you. It does not transfer surface rights to you. It does not transfer mineral rights to you. It does not transfer air rights to you. It does not transfer any form of ownership rights in any shape and form to you. A registered survey only just says that, okay, this particular land in this location has been mapped out. These are the coordinates of the land. Understand? So, in short, a deed of assignment is a stronger document than the registered survey.
Registered survey.
Because the deed of assignment is what defines the deed of assignment talks about the survey location and then say that, oh, this property that once belonged to Mr. Okorie has now been transferred to Mr. Ekato. Okay, so if for example now in a 1 acre property, let's say I have a 1 acre property and I sell just one plot of land to you. So the deed of assignment will say inside this survey document, this particular space, I've not transferred it to landlady Jane. Other ones remain my own. You get it? So if for example now I had a C of O that covered the 1 acre of land. Okay. So now my C of O will still occupy all these ones, but when I sell this portion to you, you're not going to get a C of O for this one. Because the C of O now is a global C of O. By the time you start selling the land, you understand? I sell here, I sell here, I sell here. Okay, so that's why people now call it global C of O, meaning that okay, this C of O covers the entire space there. So, but this other part have sold out, and there's now you have surveyed this part out, and you have not given you a deed of assignment here. So, what you can use here to claim rights, the only document that can help you here now, that's what I call governor's consent. All other land, my C of O covers it, but this very land has not been excised out but has been sold out. The right to occupy, to lay claim to this very land has been given to you. Okay. So it is not your own registered survey that gives you ownership. Okay, it is the deed of assignment. Or it's also on that deed of assignment that the governor is going to stamp and sign that okay, this very part of the land belongs to XYZ. So by the time the 99 whatever year tenure that covers this and this expires, I can now apply for my own C of O.
Okay.
Irrespective of this one.
Because this one has been assigned to you.
Yeah, the right to this one has been given out to someone else.
Okay. That in other words, it's
so your children in the future cannot come and lay claim. They come with a document say this is the entire property. This one. That's why it is good when you buy a land. It's good you let the government know. It's consent. Let the government know that ownership of a particular land has been transferred. Because if you buy it, they give you receipt, they give you everything. You understand? You refuse to register that deed of assignment with government without government consent. That person is still going to claim that very land. Because in government record, there is no transfer of ownership. It's only between you and the owner a transfer of ownership.
Gang, gang,
So in
gang.
the eye of the law, as far as the government have not been notified of the transfer of ownership, in the eye of the law, did this man that still own the land and not you?
And if the man wants to be wicked, he will just come one day
Yes. Not even in the night, in broad daylight.
and claim the land
Yeah, by
back.
the time you see a man, they call them Oga landlord. By the time you see landlord in your compound telling you, please move. You say, what do you mean move? I bought it. You take the matter to court. When the court will go to land registry, your name is not there as the owner.
But I have my receipt now.
Your receipt is not the government. Your receipt is not admissible in court.
It's not legal. But there was
In
a
short,
deed of assignment.
that transaction is deemed illegal because it was not registered with government.
Oh.
It is deemed illegal.
But there was a deed of assignment with a red stamp.
That is between the two of you. That is between the two of you. At times, people call it ratification or perfection of document. The document has not been perfected.
Okay. Okay, let's use that word. Perfected.
Yes, that's not perfected.
Because so many people they don't even know these things we are seeing. They feel that once they have bought, they've collected their documents.
Yeah, you are there, you fence, you put padlock.
Yes, that is all.
The neighbor know you are the owner of the land, but the government does not know you are the owner of the land.
So, but this certificate of occupancy is not always easy to get. But then we'll talk about it when we begin to talk about the challenges of getting this. So we are still talking about the importance. In other words, Mr. Face, what you explain means that the CFO gives you proof of ownership of a particular piece of land. Yes, and I also know that a CFO can give you an access to loans. Maybe you want to get loan from the bank, the government, and all that. You can use that house, not particularly as a collateral, to get access to loans.
It is ownership of people don't know. There's a difference between ownership of right to a land and ownership of land.
Okay.
It is ownership of the right to use that land that you own. You don't own the land. The land, throughout the period of your lease, still belongs to government. So it is the right to occupy that you own. The right of occupancy. So the right to occupy that you own.
It means that the only landlord we have in Nigeria is government.
Yes. All land, according to the law, belongs to the federal government. But custodian of the land of the federal government are the states.
Yes. Oh, okay.
All lands in Nigeria.
The governments are
all land, all water, all air.
Okay, but if I have a certificate of occupancy,
yes,
I can actually occupy everything I see on that particular piece of land.
That's also another misconception.
Because
there are different rights.
Okay.
What most Nigerians own is what they call surface rights. Surface rights. Surface rights. The surface of the earth. Now, to a little depth, because if for example, let me just say surface right, like that means that your foundation will just be like a board. There's a so there's a depth where you can your foundation cannot go beyond a particular place.
6 feet.
No, it's more than 6 feet.
That you can get.
Of course now. You have to build a bank like UBA structure. Is the foundation 6 feet?
Okay. They dig more than that.
There are some people that have I've seen 3-story foundation.
Okay.
3-story foundation.
Goes deeper.
Yes. Because the kind of building you want to build, the kind of foundation you do. But however, that does not mean to the center of the earth. That's where your right ends.
In case if I now see like some gold.
If you see, they call those ones mineral rights. You know what I'm saying? All minerals in Nigerian soil belongs to government.
And you know, before they can even give you that mineral right, they would have come and check.
Of course, you know, all areas of the map that the government know where gold is now. They can't find gold in Apache.
And they would have come and check. Do you know what God can do? To just...
No, that's not the way God operates. Can I just sleep and they start, by the time you test your water, gold is on the surface of your water.
No. It's well. So, that's good. At least before they can give... What about the air rights?
The same as well too. There are some places you cannot put beyond a particular level.
That's understanding.
You know, the truth is that the Nigerian real estate sector is still very primitive.
Mm.
We don't really have enough laws in place for either the practice of real estate or for the use of the Nigerian land. That's why still in my village, somebody can just, as long as there's no cassava or whatever on the land, somebody can just enter there, start farming the land. That's why nobody, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 up to 10 weeks, nobody disturbs you. You can continue to do your farming. But in America, you can't just move into any land and start doing whatever you do. Why? Because there are clear legislations. So the industry is well regulated. So when you talk about air rights, how many Nigerians even know that you may not even buy land, you can buy the air rights. You will not buy the land. But the top of the air, the space on top of the land. So that's why you see in America, funny. In America, you have, let's say, here is the sky, here is the center of the earth, then here is the surface of the land. Somebody will own the surface right in America, but that same person that owns surface right does not own the mineral right. You understand? Does not own it. Then that same person does not own the top. So you can have 3 owners of the land. In short, you have more than one. Somebody can own the air right, another person will own the surface, another person will own the mineral right. Now, because there are different kind of minerals, somebody can own the gold, another person will own the diamond, another person will own the mineral.
That's crazy.
That's how governments. That's why they get money to develop.
The person that owns the surface rights cannot build
beyond a particular space.
And if he wants to, he has to rebuy.
Yes, you have to get island agreement, or you cannot. In short, it's crazy. You cannot even, because that's why when you take your building plan to government for approval, I want to do something, they will now look if you infringe into the rights of anybody on top.
Okay.
So just like you think that, oh, but you are here, you own anything to design on the moon. No, it's not so. There's a particular limit to ownership. Air right is clearly defined. The height to which you own
in a particular place.
In a particular place.
Okay.
You understand? That's why, for example, now you see, let's say this is your fence. You cannot be building, but then you now go up. You now go to another person's airspace.
You cannot build house and
yes, like this. You have a good foundation, and then
like
your exactly your house now play to another person's airspace. Real estate is sweet.
Wow. We have a lot of things to unfold in real estate, which my fellow Nigerians they may be practicing, but they don't even know that. Because I know that so many people has gone to take their building approval, and all they know is submit their documents, was approved, and they just carry the documents and they left the office without knowing that there are so many things people must have considered. Some people did not even get, and they may not know the reason they didn't get. Just like that. So that's okay. We have heard the importance of CFO, and having a CFO property is also a kind of having security for your property, because it's easier to identify the owner of that property. It's very easy to identify. You don't have to go about. It's just like when you're trying to identify a property that is owned by a family, or a freehold, or maybe other titles. But I believe that a property that has a CFO, it's very easy to identify the owner of the property, or the owners, because the people that must have owned before it will get to the last person that actually is occupying it at that time. I don't know if I'm getting
what you're saying makes sense. There's what they call when you trace the history of a particular land, when you go to the land registry, they can tell you the number of times the property have passed hands.
Yes, from hand to hand.
Okay. But something else to get about, these are also an addition. One of the reasons why Nigerians like CFO is if government has a need for that land again, if you have a CFO on that land, you are not going to lose outright. Government is going to give you back some money. They look at the market the rate at which that particular land is sold at that particular time. So
Market value as
yes,
at that
yes,
time.
government will, there's what they call they'll compensate you for retrieving the land. But if your land does not have a C of O, that you have not converted the land up to the line of C of O, government just collect everything from government does not have to, they don't owe you any form of
Oh
compensation.
my God.
Even if you bought the land for 1
Oh
million
my
naira,
God.
because you owe 5 million naira, the property is now everything on it is now like 10 million naira. You are getting nothing. So the CFO does not actually compensate you for the house you have built. It's only for the worth of the land. It's the land you lease. Whatever you put on the land is at your own risk. So you can buy a land for 500,000 naira and develop the land for 2 billion naira. Yes, that's just yeah, people do it.
I think these days now, I think buying a land is even cheaper than building on it.
Buying a land is cheaper than building it. Building has to do with the taste of the owner.
We're not talking about mud house here.
No, not talking about mud house. Land is utility.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to use the land for. So like take for example now, very practical example, take the land of that of this landmark resort. You understand? The investment that man had on the land was more than the cost of the land itself.
Okay, I agree with you on that. But when we're talking about residential, people now prefer to even buy the land and keep it, because then building it becomes a very big challenge. Maybe because of a little increase in building materials and all that. Imagine somebody buying a piece of, people can actually buy a piece of land for 1 million naira, but you cannot build with 1 million naira.
Can you buy land for 500,000 naira and build it 200,000 naira?
This is it. You can't. You can't. You can't. So it's good. Anyway, we are progressing. We'll get there soon.